Hello. Beep, 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 beep. Morning. Welcome to the Edijester. I've got bad throat. Can you tell? Ah, ah. I'm very groggy and very croaky, so I sound a bit different today. But it's kind of resonant. I can live with it. No one would have believed in the first years of the 20 blah blah blah. Makes me sound a bit like that. But nevertheless, let's continue. Public sector workers more sympathetic to terror groups such as Hamas. Before I begin, please do like, subscribe, come and be a warrior teacher. Usual stuff, right? Starting next week. Now, public sector's workers more sympathetic to terror groups such as Hamas. Now, I've been rattling on about the public sector for quite some years since I used to work there, and I've seen what it's like. It is my opinion that it is a state within a state, that it does its own thing, it ignores the government of the day, and is mostly out of touch with the views of the people. This article from the Times on the 16th of October has done nothing to change my opinion. In fact, if anything, it's cemented it. I'll be very interested to hear from you about what you think the situation is. A number of people on the winning mindset, the warrior teachers, are public sector. Hey, yes. And therefore, I get their take on things as well. So I'm intrigued to see what you've got to say about this article appearing in the Times. Public sector workers more sympathetic to terror groups such as Hamas. Study finds a large difference in viewpoint between public servants and the wider population on topics such as the IRA, Russia, and China. Public sector workers view Britain less favourably than the public and are more sympathetic to adversaries such as Russia, China, and terror groups such as Hamas, according to a major study. I mean, if this don't give you pause for thought, I don't know what will. I really don't. A team of behavioural science experts who previously worked for the government's nudge unit found a large cultural gap between public servants and the wider population, and consistent differences between their outlook on big issues facing the country. The research, which included a survey of 8,000 people, found variations within the public sector, with the views and cultural outlook of NHS workers diverging the most from those of the general public. So it's the NHS that's most out of touch with the general public. Oh my, colour me surprised. I'm not surprised by this. I mean, are you really? Civil servants are the closest to public opinions, while teachers' views were in the middle. The differences persisted even after the researchers controlled for differences in age, gender, ethnicity, income, and education, and the findings shared with the Times showed that public sector workers expressed significantly more sympathy for groups using violence or illegal tactics in pursuit of political aims, including terrorist organizations. For the love of God. Why? Couldn't be something to do with the fact that the public sector is replete with lefties, could it? Could it? Maybe. I don't know. You tell me. The biggest difference, however, and this is one that shocks me the most, was observed with regards to Hamas. Only 34% of public servants said they had no sympathy at all for Hamas, compared with 54% of the wider public. 66% of public servants have sympathy for Hamas. Yep, you heard it here. That's what this is saying. Honest to God, I don't know what we do with the information, but that's what it's saying. The difference was starkest amongst NHS workers, where 30% expressed the highest degrees of sympathy for Hamas, compared with just 14% of the wider public. Similar results were found when respondents were asked about provisional IRA. The research found that public sector workers were 50% more likely to think that Britain had done more harm than good when compared with the general public. It's revealing a pattern that is incredibly worrying. I mean, that's the only way that we can describe it. It's an incredibly worrying pattern. Among public servants, 18% said Britain had done more harm than good, compared to 12% among the wider public. Public sector workers take a view of hostile states, according to the study, a softer view. They were less likely than the public to say that Russia, Iran, or China had done more harm than good, by up to 10%. In each case, Iran. How can you possibly say Iran hasn't done more harm than good? I mean, it's just beyond the pale. Why is this happening? I mean, somebody's going to have to investigate, because there's something wrong with the culture. Public sector viewers take a softer view of a hostile state. I mean, that line alone should be enough to give us a warning klaxon, shouldn't it? They also expressed lower attachment to Britain's traditions and symbols. Public sector workers were found to be significantly more likely than the rest of the public to agree that patriotic symbols can be offensive and should not be promoted in public institutions. The survey also found a gap between what the public and public servants believe should be priorities. The wider public are more likely to prioritise each service's core function, such as the civil service remaining neutral and cost-effective, and the BBC providing accurate and impartial news coverage. By contrast, public sector workers placed relatively greater weight on other objectives, such as the civil service meeting diversity targets, and the BBC offering more airtime to underrepresented groups. Despite being more educated, the study found that public sector workers are more likely to believe factually incorrect statements that portray Britain negatively. This is absolutely extraordinary. And it worries me greatly, not least of all, because this is where EDI, DEI, and all the festering nonsense that came with it began. I've got the original training course they used. It's absolutely appalling that this has happened and is continuing to be allowed to happen. I'm going to be really interested to hear what you've got to say about this, because from my perspective, this is a call to get a team in, including the Woke Finder General, and deal with these people. It's absolutely unconscionable that they can act in such a way. I mean, it gets worse. Go and read the rest of the article. It gets worse. Go and read it. I've got one of these share tokens so that you can use it. All right. So you go and have a look and let me know what you think, because this is just beyond the pale. Absolutely beyond the pale. I'll see you later. Ta-da!